everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Who Said What. I'm Hiba.
And I'm Nira. Today we have our guest, a very special friend, Ahmed Naguib. I've known him for... I met him before I started the Four Fat Ladies. And I started the Four Fat Ladies in 2012. So we must know each other for at least 15 years, I would say.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Definitely.
Oh my God, I have to...
Where did you guys meet?
I think we met through work.
Yes.
We did meet through work, and I think you still own El Masna?
It's now Bubblegum Factory.
Yes, I saw
No
that.
way, really?
Yes.
Wait, why did you call it Bubblegum? And so it's a social media company. So you tell us about it.
So he's the first, but wait. In all honesty, Ahmed, you were the first person who really got the whole social media thing up and running in this country. Like, I don't remember that many other people that were doing it when you came onto the
We were
scene.
a select few.
Very select few.
Yes.
And he was so young. You were a baby at the time.
I am still a baby
You're still a
in
baby.
my heart. Yes.
He was a fresh graduate, I think. But before, no, you started working when you were in college.
Yes. I started working when I was finishing high school. And I was remotely working before remote work was cool. Funny story. So
What year was this?
I will tell you right now. It was I think the early 2008. So it was my last year of high school because I had to repeat the last year of my high school year. I didn't tell you guys this before.
Yeah.
Because I went to the US when I was 15
Okay.
on a scholarship program. And I was a senior when I was 15.
I remember that.
Yes.
I don't remember.
So when I came back, they were like, no, it doesn't count. I was like, I was a senior in high school. It should count. I was like, no, it doesn't count. So you have to repeat your final year in high school. So I was delayed like a year here in Egypt. So I started working during that year.
Okay.
And funny story was my boss, who I truly love until today. Like we're Facebook friends. He was an Englishman living in Hurghada, running a diving center, and the company that we were working for was in Melbourne,
Oh, wow.
and I was running their social media accounts.
Okay.
So that's how I got my start when it comes to social media and like doing things.
But you essentially started young and right after high school. During high school.
Last year of high school, yes.
That you had to repeat.
Yes.
2008, Facebook came about 2 years before, right?
Yes.
2006. So there was no Instagram.
I created my Facebook account in 2006 when I was in Kansas.
Okay.
That was my first encounter with Facebook.
First
And
on
so
social
what was-
media.
Yeah.
And what did you first do in social media then? At the time, it was very limited, right?
Which was good. If you take me back to these days, it was very nice because at that time, the early adapters of any social media platform are usually very smart, well-informed people. So when you start, when I joined Twitter back in the day before it became X, it was full of a lot of interesting people who now they're running big companies, they're doing big things. So these people were the only people that were with you back in the day.
Yeah.
As the platform becomes more and more famous, or it gets popular, it gets more people. And the bad things about having more people is you get all the people.
And you dilute the good ones. And
100%.
There's a lot of noise and
negativity.
and stuff that, whatever.
Except on Tumblr. I'm still on Tumblr.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't even know that.
I love Tumblr. You should go and visit Tumblr.
Tumblr is pictures, right?
Tumblr was very cool. It was everything. It was pictures, music, poetry, tech. It was a big thing.
Oh.
It was sold to Yahoo at one point in time for $1 billion, and then Yahoo took it down the drains with Yahoo itself.
Okay.
But it's still today, until today, it still exists, and it's one of my safe havens. So if I want to see the good in life and the good in people, I just go to Tumblr.
Oh, I should put that on my phone then.
You should.
So how is it positive though? How is it more positive than the other social media? What makes it different?
So it's they started the thing of the trend of microblogging back in the day. And when you look at Twitter now, it used to accommodate 140 characters, and then it started accommodating more and more text.
Okay.
So back in the day, if you were too lazy to blog, you microblogged. and if you wanted to microblog, you go on Tumblr. So it was the place to microblog.
Is Instagram not like that though, in a way?
No, it's not. It's not engineered in a way like you go on Instagram and you see a profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Tumblr, you see a Tumblog.
Okay, I gotta get on this.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Hopefully, I get many people back on it.
On Tumblr, but
So
we don't
really-
want all those people on
What's
it.
between microblogging and blogging?
It's
Shorter.
short blogging.
I realize that. So is there? You guys are two smart asses, by the
Yep.
Okay. So I microblogging.
So it's just, I guess it's just quicker. It's just like a small snippet of blog. So it's like
You don't have to write like 500 words,
Yeah.
1,500 words. You don't have to like. Sometimes you just. I'll tell you a funny thing. When you go to like the bookstore and you see a writer called Liang Leave or something, like she writes poetry in like 3 sentences, 4 sentences. That writer, I'll get you her name. And there's another one called Ravi Kapoor, I think. Like these famous poets, they actually started their poetry on Tumblr, and then they turned it into books that you buy now. So if you go to the bookstore and you find these like small books with like a poem in 1 page that are like 3 sentences, these guys started off on Tumblr.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I really should get on Tumblr because I want to blog, but I don't have time to blog long. I'll microblog.
Why do they blog long though?
No, because that's what blogs are. They, Like it's usually there are these long paragraphs.
I'm
like,
just asking.
But now they are newsletters.
Idiots.
So the people who used to blog now newsletter. So they send a newsletter.
It's too many things, too many different things. I'm just
Exhausting.
lost.
It's exhausting.
It's a big commitment. Yeah, microblogging gives you like a. It's
But
okay,
is
right?
blogging still popular?
It depends. Okay, so let's look at it this way. Let's take the case of podcasting, for example. You have podcasts that are like 10 minutes long, 2 minutes long, and you have podcasts that are like 3 hours long.
I know.
Yeah.
My theory and my argument is always about how good is the content. So if it takes a word, if it takes a day, if it takes whatever, as long as it's good, it's good.
Okay.
Like I remember like one of my favorite movies is called Bab Shams, and it's a very long movie.
Okay.
And most of like when you think about the classics, 3-hour movie. If it's still good, it's good. So that applies to everything.
Yeah. I listened to a podcast recently. It was 3 hours when I started. I was like, 3 hours? I was like, oh my God, no, I can't listen to this. But I listened to it, and I listened to over several, because I love listening to podcasts when I'm in the car. Because that's my favorite time, because I can really focus. It was great to listen to, but 3 hours, I said, there's no way I'm going to finish it, but I finished it. But some that are like 10 minutes even are boring.
That's why okay, so at one point in time, if you're doing something with the 2 keywords consistently and like with commitment, if you spend months on it and it starts growing, that is an indicator of something. Like it tells you you're going in the right direction. But if you're doing a product or you're doing a show or you're doing whatever and it is not picking up audience over time, then you might have to like think about it. So sometimes that's what I do. Like I've created things that like are followed by millions of people, but I've also created a lot of failures that did not see like 100, 200 views, 300 views. It's a matter of like being agile and being like committed to finding what works for you.
Change. You have
Definitely.
To, you have
Adapting.
to change, adapt.
Adapting.
But you have to like be humble enough to know that sometimes it will not work.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, those are the questions I asked.
That I do not know any of the questions.
Yeah.
For you, social media, how do you see it? Actually, did you want to ask, like, social media, how has it changed over the years? Like, since you started in 2008?
That's a good question. It became darker. It became, like, I'll tell you the honest truth. So, back in the day, like 2008, 9, this area, I really liked social media. Like I was addicted to social media. I loved it. And one of the reasons why I was successful at what I do is I am an introvert. So being behind the computer and interacting with people through the computer was the only, like, the best way to deal with people and network with people. Like, I networked with people online. That's what I did. As social media developed, it just brought out the worst in us. So it's bringing out, like, when I look at it, because I look at it from, not from the eye of a consumer. I'm always looking at it from the eyes of a creator or someone who knows, like what's happening behind the behind the scenes. So when I look at it, I'm like, like Instagram now is all about you being envious to your friends and your friends showing off to you. And there is a report that came out a while ago that said that, like, Instagram has very negative effects on teenage girls, for example.
That's the question I wanted to ask.
Okay.
The question you had to ask is how do you think it has changed, like, cultures and values in the younger in all generations, actually, because you have, even our parents are on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I feel it's really skewed. You meet a little kid right now. I'm like, what do you want to be? I want to be a social media influencer. I'm like, what happened to being a doctor, being a lawyer? You know what I'm saying? Being a teacher or something that's. So I find that there's, to me, I as much as I'm on social media, it's such an invasion of my privacy sometimes. But you're also putting yourself out there knowing that people are invading your privacy. But there's like where do you draw the line of how much do you share and how much you don't want to share?
What do you think?
Okay, I'll tell you what I think. I think personally, I think it's not affected. For sure, I think it's made values different, but I think it's affected people's mental health big time. I know it's affected my mental health, but the thing is that, you know, a lot of people say if you don't get onto the trend, you're going to just be left behind. But I'm like you, I'm an introvert. For me, it's like a lot of the times I feel like I need to be on it to be able to have some kind of success in certain things that I want to do, but I don't want to. So I have this push-pull within myself that I should do it, but I don't want to do it. It gives me, I don't know why it gives me anxiety, and I don't know why it just feels like something that I don't want to put out there. I don't want to put myself out there, and therefore but I feel like there's no other solution to do. So and a lot of people we've asked, like I've asked somebody who does that, and she says, no, you have to, like, there's no other solution. Is there another solution of doing it, like being on social media without actually putting yourself completely out there, or not putting yourself out there at all and being successful?
The thing is, the other thing that I find kind of freaky about social, like sometimes when I, let's say, call up somebody to make a reservation, they check out my social media page because they want to make sure that I have the right friends.
I do not go to these places. I refuse to go to these places.
I didn't.
And what was it? And what is it? China now, you can't get a loan unless you have I don't want to name countries or anything like that, but wasn't there something recently that came out where it's like that Black Mirror episode where Bryce Howard Dallas, that crazy, the redhead, Ron Howard's daughter.
I like her. She's good.
She can't fill up her car with gas because she doesn't have enough likes on her page. That's a real thing now, but that's a real thing now that
character in Black Mirror. She's
the episode is about basically you need to get more likes so you can get into places.
Your life depends on your likes.
Exactly.
On Instagram. But so as somebody who does social media, and you still do it now with Bubblegum Factories?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have many clients who don't want to be, I mean, obviously they're coming to you for social media, but is there a way to do it is there a way of succeeding without being on social media all the time?
Well, it depends. It depends on what you do and how you do it. Like, for example, you can not be on social media and get people to be your spokespeople or like your ambassadors on social media. Because a lot of people do this. Like, a lot of creatives, they use other people to publicize their work instead of them doing it. And we see it a lot. Going back to like how to look cool and indie and like mysterious. It's a part of the charm. So it's a tactic that people use. But honestly speaking, generally, till today, do you have to be on social media? Yes, unless you have something like let's say if you're Dan Brown, like you can choose not to be on social media because you became famous enough and you're known enough.
If you're Brad Pitt.
Definitely, like most of the
He's not on social media. He has no official account.
like the good old superstars, they rarely do it and they don't like doing it. But then you have the others who do it, but they do it their way. Like Tom Hanks, for example, he does it his way. So other people. So do you have to be on social media? It's a necessary evil until you can afford not to be on social media because other people are doing your work. Because like think about it this way. Not that many people are watching traditional TV at the moment. Everyone is watching streaming services, YouTube, social media. Where are they spending most of their time? TikTok, Snapchat, other places. So in order to promote your brand, whether it's a personal brand or a professional brand, you have to exist on these platforms.
Yeah.
And it's a necessary evil. Like I don't like being on there. I don't like promoting what I do. I don't it's anti me. Like it's my favorite place is home next to my bookshelf of books, and I sit and I read. If I get a bit bored, I go and watch TV, and like that's yes, that's the thing. Because it's nice because okay, so the thing is, books do not judge you. Like books, you open a book. If you don't like the book, you can close it and just watch TV. If you don't like the TV show, if you don't like the music, you can control all of these things. Yeah. Once you are engaging with people, that's where it's a bit difficult.
For sure. Yeah, you open your life to the criticism or the comments.
Everything. Once you're engaging with others, it's not like if you're engaging in like sometimes you have to do difficult conversations. Sometimes you have to do uncomfortable things because you have to get the okay of someone or something like that to get into some like the social constructs are always like a
which is funny because we're just talking about how before that when we were working with you at the Four Fat Ladies, we did these videos and we did these videos together. That was such a lifetime ago now.
If you think about it, we were trying to give people an insight into like who's behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And when you look at TikTok now and most of the businesses, what they're doing.
All of them are doing that.
Exactly.
And when did we do that? That was 10 years ago almost now.
Must have been 10 years. Well, we started in 2012. We left 2 years ago in 2022.
It was like 2015 or something.
I think so, something like that. But like now when I see a bunch of the food people, they're all, meet so-and-so, the person behind the cafe. So they're always showcasing the chefs behind the actual brands.
Or the brand owner or it's support like because now it's okay, so people buy from people, so it's better to present your product or present your service through you or through humans. And it's one of the best practices, like because I work with TikTok a lot, and it's like videos are going to perform much better if they have a human element in them. So if you have a human being in them, they perform much better. If you're not being too salesy, if you're trying to sell it through storytelling and like telling, like that's how it works.
Okay.
So now everyone is doing what we were trying to do like 10 years ago, but we were Renaissance men and women.
Yeah.
We were ahead of our time.
Yeah, no, before you needed a celebrity to promote your product. Now they're not really celebrity like actors or...
You are a celebrity in your own right.
Yeah.
No, but funny story. A few months ago, I was in Australia.
I was. Yes. Oh my God, we love Australia.
Yes, so I was with my wife, who was born there, and it was her first time going back in 30 years. So we went.
Seriously?
Yeah, so we met her friends and her teacher when she was 9. Like we met him. He was.
Wow.
Anyways, when
where did you go in Australia?
In Melbourne. So we went and we had lunch at one of her friends' house, and her husband worked at a telecom operator. So I'm sitting with him. I'm like, I worked with telecom operators before, and we always like get huge celebrities, big budgets to promote things. And he's like, no, we don't do this. I'm like, what do you do to promote your stuff? He's like, here in Australia, we just like bring normal people. We do normal cast, like normal actors. We don't get the celebrity. We don't need the celebrity to sell the service or the
It
product.
makes it so much cheaper for these big companies now, I would think.
And they do it a lot. Like they do it more frequent, but it works for them. So it differs from culture to culture. Like when I was like talking to a friend of mine, and we were like discussing how like ads are different in Germany, for example, because people are more pragmatic, more functional, more like tell me what the features are, versus developing countries, they're all emotional. Like sell me with emotion,
Yes,
sell me
yes.
with the. So it's a different thing. So when it comes to celebrity usage, like Australians are not into
I want to move there.
I
I love that place. What did you? How long were you there for?
21 days.
Was it really beautiful?
It was an amazing experience.
And by the way, I noticed, was that when you started your health journey? Yes, thank you, dear.
My health journey.
Because
Yes.
I kept on seeing Ahmed. He's like in Melbourne, and I could see this camera on his story, and I could see half of him, and he looks like he's on a treadmill. But I'm like, so what is he
No,
doing?
but I treadmilled here in Egypt. But the thing is, what I did was I went and I got myself a whoop.
I just threw mine away.
No, I'm committed.
Okay,
I'm
good for
committed. Because like I tell you why I got it for two reasons. Funny story. Number one, I hated my Apple Watch because of too many notifications. So it's like and
It's annoying.
I get an anxiety because like my phone does not stop, like because of work, because of the nature of our business. Our business is not a 9 to 5 business. Like your client is going to call you at 9 p.m. on a Friday telling you there is something wrong. Like
Yes, of course. Oh my God.
so the burnout is very quick. Like I burn out very quickly. So I decided to get rid of my Apple Watch. For the main reason is it makes me less anxious now. Number two, I love watches, so it gives me the ability to wear my watches, my normal watches, and I decided, like I was talking with one of my friends, I'm like, I'll get a Whoop because I want something to monitor, like my strain, my recovery, my sleep, etc. But I don't want it to be like a smartwatch.
Yeah, I know. I agree. It's very annoying.
So I got it, and the commitment I took at the time was I'm going to start working out. Like I'm going to be healthier, and I need to start because I'm not going to commit to a monthly subscription or unless I'm doing it. So I got it because I'm doing it because it's very okay. So if you buy a Whoop and you are not committed to changing things in your life, then you're doing it just for the show. Because like Cristiano has it now, so it's like cool to wear it. Like, because a lot of people do this. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's social signaling. That's what we do. Like most of the time, when you look at, because I have to study like the psychology of people and how to like get them into things and how to sell them products and services. So sometimes it's like Beats by Dr. Dre. It's not the best headphones, but you saw it with LeBron James, and you're like, I need it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I know Chewy.
So a part of like social signaling now is like if I'm wearing a Whoop, you are looking after your health, but at the same time, if you're not looking after your health, then you're just getting it for like show.
Okay.
So it's social signaling. منظرة جدا.
طب قول لي, when did you start your journey, your health journey, and how's that going?
So actually, I started right after I came back from Australia.
Which was how? When?
I came back early July.
Okay.
So, but I've been on and off. I'm always struggling with weight. I'm always struggling with like getting fit. I'm always struggling with how my body image, how I look at myself. I'm always struggling.
I think that's like
Everybody's
plague of our generation.
Yeah, but it's like but I take it to like 100. But then like when I got the Whoop, I'm like more committed now. So I started with the treadmill for a while, but then I got sick. So Allah Salamik. So sometimes when I get sick, I fall out of the routine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like I get into a routine, but so I'm. Funnily enough, I started a couple of days ago going back on the routine because it took me like a couple of months to actually like get from out of one illness to the other to something else. Like sometimes when I get sick, I get sick.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's from burnout and stress.
That 100% stress. I've done it multiple. Like the issue that now that I'm trying to deal with is how to keep my stress under control, because it's tough.
What's the stress
Manage
from?
your stress levels?
Yeah, it's very tough.
What's the
It's-
stress from? Work?
uh,
Mainly?
okay, so I've always been Maggie, my wife, always says I'm a worry pot. So I'm always worrying. So I always worry about everything. It's a part of who I am. And actually it's one of the reasons why I'm good at what I do, is I worry a lot. So let's say I have a shoot and I have to get it done very quickly. The client doesn't have a timeline. I get worried so much. I want to do it very quickly, and then what they expect in 7 days, I deliver in 3 because I'm worried.
Oh.
So worry sometimes is good, but the issue is I don't really manage it well.
Jury.
Yeah. And then I don't manage it well generally because like it's easier said than done to not worry. Like everyone's like, you don't have to worry about everything. I'm like, I have to worry about everything. There is a lot at stake. But it's something that I'm working on. Like, so my health, both mental and physical, this is something like a
How
work
are
in
you
progress.
working on? Maybe Nira and I can have tips for you. So what do you do to manage your stress levels?
I try to go to the gym.
That helps a lot, by the way.
It helps with time.
And funnily enough, I realized that I really enjoy running very late in life. Like very late.
That's fine. And I started enjoying, I remember when I was in high school in CC, they make you do the mile run. The mile run is 4 laps around the big track. So it's 1.6 kilometers. Let me tell you, after the first 100 meters, I used to be dry heaving, like, I can't, and I would stop. And then when I got on the treadmill, I started running 2 laps and 3 laps. And you find your body adapts actually very quickly, very, very quickly. So it's really not that hard to go from running for 5 minutes to running for 30 minutes. It just, your body gets used to it very quickly, actually.
But funnily enough,
And then I got injured.
well, of course, I discovered that the elliptical actually helps with your breathing. Like
Sure.
I discovered it by accident because I used to go to a trainer. Because sometimes I go to a trainer. Like sometimes I'm like, let's get a trainer.
I'm all for, I'm a big supporter of trainers.
I'm all for
Motivated.
mental trainers.
Okay.
Like 100% like talk therapists. I'm all for them.
Did you go to
Like
therapy?
I did for a while because at one point in time in my life I really needed to go to therapy. Disclaimer: I did not believe in therapy before I went to therapy. Like I was the worst enemy. I'm like, this is not going to work out.
I'm all about therapy.
No, especially like talk therapy is different than like medication. So I went to a talk therapist and medicine guy, like a doctor at the same time, and I found that the talk therapist was actually more helpful to me.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
And I was like this is what I like. If I'm going to invest money and time with someone, I would totally go for a mental trainer, aka talk therapists, than a physical trainer, because sometimes it's all in your head. Like sometimes it's all mental. So if you deal with this, like you can work out better because you can work out easier with like an app. But like therapy, I don't like. You need someone to unlock whatever is in your head.
Yeah, no, it's easy. It's very important. Mental health, I think, is super important now because we have so many things going on. We're under so much stress work-wise, so much mental pressure from outside social pressure. I think talk therapist, as you call it, is extremely important, and I haven't done that in a very long time, and I think I need to do it again. Because actually, I realized this summer, I'm very introverted, okay? I'm going to share something now.
My bad.
I used to be very introverted. I am very introverted, actually. But with time, because I'm almost 50 now, I don't appear as introverted, but I am actually introverted. I don't have a hard time sharing a lot of things, but I'll share it in terms of like, in a humorous way. So, but it's something that does bother me, but I'll say it in a funny way. You know what I mean?
Same.
I used to be very introverted, and I used to not share anything. Then I came, and I didn't have very many friends, so I came to a point where I think this was like probably maybe 10 years ago, where I started to realize that I would share some things that bothered me, and for some reason, people started to like me more, I felt. I felt that I was creating friends based on my issues. And it was okay for a while because I thought it was fun, but it's like I kind of created more issues because subconsciously, not really consciously. And then I realized this summer, I was like, you know what's going, it really started to bother me because talking to friends actually magnified the problem in my head in a way. It didn't make it go away because as an introvert, it's like telling people, first of all, I felt like I'm kind of airing my dirty laundry out. It made me more uncomfortable and it made me more resentful. And the issue didn't go away. It was actually annoying me more because I was putting myself in this situation. And then I realized, you know what? I actually need to go to talk to somebody who's impartial, somebody who's objective, somebody that doesn't know me. Because everybody you know will tell you, but everybody has their opinion and everybody has a different opinion. And you're like, you know, I'm actually talking to you not really to get your opinion. I'm just making conversation in a way. And then I realized it's like I dug my own hole. So a lot of time I realized that a lot of these friends were not maybe good friends. It's like I created friends based on issues. I know because it's a little bit complicated.
But I'll tell you something. Like these friends, because I'm reading a book now. I'm super communicators because it's very cool. And because these friends are not having the same conversation that you are having with them. Like in their head, they're listening to you because they're going to respond to you.
Exactly. Yes, it's true.
And the talk therapist, they actually, most of the time, they just listen and they ask questions.
Exactly.
So that's the difference, I think, because like friends are not really entirely the best people to go to get.
And actually, and I realized though, I'm almost 50 and I realized that actually there are certain things that I need to offload, but I'm offloading it to the wrong person. So I need to, somebody gave me the number of therapists. I was like, maybe I should go and offload these things.
Friends, well, okay, when you share, you become more relatable. And that's why people like it when people share, because if you cry in front of them, then you're vulnerable. It endears you to them a bit more. But simultaneously, when you talk about your problems, there are some people, I'm not saying everybody, but there are some people that are going to delight in your problems, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm not saying all our friends. Some friends do. You know what I'm saying? Some people become happy. Oh, she has problems, so she, that her life is not as rosy as we think it is. Oh, this is fun. You know what I'm saying? It's another way to become relatable. So they're not the only ones with problems. Some people actually, unfortunately, and those are not the best of friends, take pleasure in the fact that you are having issues. So that's the nature. That's the nature of the beast. And then the other thing is that there are some friends that can help you. But advice you get from friends is always going to be biased in some way or another because they are internalizing your issues, and their advice sometimes is advice to themselves. It might not really be the best advice to you.
I'm somebody, it bothers me, the excessive advice, and I'm like, wow, I'm doing it to myself. But it's like Tony Robbins said, right? He said, well, a lot of these, are these.
We are some of the five people that are closest to us.
Not that one. Not in this case. What they say is that what you focus on, the energy you focus. No, what you focus on grows. Like where you put your energy, it grows. So basically, I felt that in a way there was a bit of that as an introvert. I'm sitting with people. I kind of want to make small talk, but I don't want to make small talk about silly things. I want to make small talk about more meaningful things. And then it comes out about me. And therefore, I felt like it was two things. I'm trying to connect with people, but at the same time, on the negative end, it's basically creating more of this energy in my life, So I decided this summer actually was very like a huge awakening for me. I said, you know what? I have to stop this. If it means less friends or less people, because a lot of these people, some of these people will not really connect with me anymore because I just don't have anything to say.
And you guys, my sister Heba, this is Nira, Heba's always going to look at me as an extrovert. And in some ways, yes, I have no issues talking to random strangers. It's easy for me.
No, I watch Nira. I watch Nira talk, because she talks to everybody. And she has conversations, deep conversations. She can go on for hours. I'm like, wow, that's impressive. For me, even my closest friends, I have Mark and Jessica. Why we're super close? Because we could sit in silence for like literally 5 hours. My Mark and I will just sit there.
But
Say nothing. You know what I mean?
But sometimes every extrovert is an introvert, because sometimes I'll be in a situation that I'm in somebody's house, which happened recently. I'm at a birthday and I'm in this house, and I was not that crazy person in COVID that stayed indoor and stuff like that. But since COVID, I don't like staying in closed spaces with a lot of people and no windows. It bothers me. It actually really bothers me. So there are all these people, and sometimes I cannot bother to make small talk. I am just not in the mood. And now it's happening more often. I'm not in the mood to make small talk with a bunch of people that I'm probably going to see once every 6 months. So do I want to make small talk with you? Not really. Do I want to be your friends? Not really.
So what are you doing there?
I'm there because it's my friend's birthday, but then I did the total, and then I had other friends with me. They're like, Nira, you having a good time? Yeah, having a good time.
And then it disappears.
Mira, I'm just like, no, I'm tired. And bored. I was a bit bored because I felt I had nothing to talk to these people about because they're not my friends. And a lot of them are a lot younger than me. And not that that's a problem, but I cannot relate. And I don't know what to talk to them about. So I stood there literally. I looked, and this girl, I was lying on the sofa, and this girl, she's like, you look so comfortable on the sofa.
No.
I feel like, and then I got up, I looked at my friend, I'm like, I feel like grandma here. And I feel really boring. And it made me feel really bad about myself. And and then all of a sudden my friends are like, Nira, you're not leaving. I'm like, no, of course not. And the apartment is really small, so anybody leaves, they'll notice. So I kind of took my bag that was on the sofa, put it next to the door. So people went back. And then I saw them all talking, and then people kept coming and talking to them. Just said, "Oh, I wish everybody would just fuck off."
Did you leave or not? When did you fucking leave?
So I started taking a step backwards, and then I did the Irish exit. I kind of went, and then I walked out of the building, the wrong door of the building. I found myself in the corridor, and I'm just like, "Fuck! I need to go out the other door, but the door is closed, so I can't go through the building." So then I realized the party's up there. They'll see me. The courtyard is in everybody's face. So I kind of...
This sounds like a Peter Sellers moment from The Party.
It feels like you were in a palace. Were you in a palace?
It's like she was...
I was in one of those compounds, and I started walking, and I said I took the first right. It was another building, so I was like, darn it. So I kept walking forward. I'm like, I hope they don't see me. And then I found the thing. I was like, thank God. I got in my car, left. They're like, Mira, did you disappear? I'm like, absolutely. I didn't want to be around. But so everybody, there are all situations where you're uncomfortable being around people because you don't know what to talk about. Sometimes you have so much to talk about with a random stranger, and sometimes you have absolutely nothing.
Anya, how about Maggie, your wife? Is she an introvert or an extrovert?
She's more introvert than I am, which
Really?
is...
Is she really?
Yeah. She's super introvert, like me.
And does that make it easier? You get each other then?
Yeah, because our perfect time is sitting at home, reading. She paints... so she does her painting, she does her reading, we watch TV together. We watch 4 or 5 different TV shows in parallel to each other.
But she does the cooking thing.
And she does the cooking things.
So
But she does it at work.
Dub, tell us about that whole, it's called the Hum Network?
It's called Hum Network from Hum Ya Gamal.
Okay, so tell us about that, because I've been seeing so much about that, and tell our listeners about that.
Okay, so Hum Network is when I tell people what it is, it's like the Fatafit 2.0 or the CBC Sofra 2.0. So it's like a digital food media publisher that's focused on all things food. So the tagline is a world for food and its lovers. So at Hum, you can find all the things that you want related to food in different things. We have shows that are all about entertainment. We have restaurant reviews. We have Hum Academy, something that we launched very recently, where you can go pay for courses and take on demand, courses on demand. So you get eggs 101. So if you want to learn how to do different kinds of... we would love to have you on board. If you commit to doing it in Arabic. That's the rule.
Arabic.
That's because we are...
That would be so much fun. You're doing it in Arabic.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's what we're doing actually, and we're doing very cool. We're building it slowly because we went into an incubator, and now we're not actively seeking a round of investment, but we're building it slowly as its own business. So it's taking longer than like what I would love to do in like a year. It is going to take possibly like 2-3 years to get done, which is something we don't mind. Like I don't mind going slow and steady instead of
Yeah.
like running around. So we're doing this, and and Maggie enjoys it very well, and I enjoy it very well. So,
Is she the one who started it?
it was our like it was partially like my idea. It originated from like our clients' work. So I was like, if we're doing a lot of food content for clients, we might as well do our own platform. So we started it in 2018, and the idea back in the day was it wasn't going to be recipe videos. We have recipe videos,
Yeah.
but originally it was like going to be shows. So we had a very famous show at that time. It was on YouTube back in 2018, 2019. It was very popular. It was called El Hawarda, which was a girl named Aya trying different weird combinations of food from around the world. So we had this kind of shows with us. We had Chef Mustafa Rafai, the executive chef of Zuba, do a show with us back in the day. So we had like different people doing shows for us. But then at that, we didn't see that many brands getting involved. So we had to be creative, because it's always like you have to be creative and adapt to changes and adapt to because sometimes you have to look at things commercially as well, because you are a business and you need to make money. So it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, and how do you? Wait, I tell you what. I lost my train of thought.
I do it all the time. Funnily enough, about losing a train of thought, I was once on a live TV show.
Really?
Yes. Back in the day, they had a channel called CBC2,
Yes.
but they closed it down. But back in the day, I was a part of an episode about like young entrepreneurs, and I got asked a question, and all of a sudden I realized that it was live TV.
And you didn't even hear the question.
No, I heard the question, but then I stood there and I'm like, these are cameras, and this is a red light, and it's live. I don't know how many people are watching, and I stopped and I was like, can you repeat that question, please? I didn't know. And I felt like, because once you are aware of what you're doing, I think it stops you, it makes you freeze. And that's what happened. So sometimes I lose my train of thought, but it's like now it's more or less a part of my character, like it's
I think
it's
part
normal.
of everybody's character in this generation. We feel like
You're bombarded.
It's like we're bombarded with so many things. Sometimes I'm like in the middle of it. I'm like, what was I doing? What was I saying? And I literally, you know how many times I go into the kitchen and then I'm like, what did I come in here for? I have to trace back my steps and be like, okay, yeah, that's why I wanted to go back in.
But then this is actually a psychological thing.
What?
Like sometimes when you're thinking about something and you exit a room, you forget it. So it's actually not because of you. It's a psychological thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I like reading. Okay, so here's the thing. Sometimes, like I love reading. I'm good. A part of like doing digital marketing or marketing for people or advertising generally is you have to tap into the psychology of things. Like you have to read into psychology, consumer behavior, etc. So a part of like what we do is like reading about like what makes people forget, and this was one of them. Like if you exit a room, you might forget what you were thinking about.
That's why you to go back to the rooms. Remember.
Exactly.
As a reader.
Exactly. Yes.
What do you think about? Actually, wait. Quick question. What do you think? Do you know that account on Instagram? Because Ahmed loves fashion. We were just talking about the whole fashion thing, and then I cut him off because we wanted to start recording because I had an idea. Do you know that she's that woman, Nara? Nara Aziza. She's married to. She's a fashion. She's a model. She was. That's how her and her husband met. But she cooks everything on, like she has her Instagram account. She cooks everything from scratch because she has eczema and she can't eat a lot of stuff. But she's always cooking it in a fashion designer dress.
I think I saw her. She's like thin, tall.
Everybody's outdating.
She's half South African.
Yes, I saw her. I saw her. She's very cool. Yes.
She always wears designer dresses. Like sometimes they're ridiculous. She's making kimchi in this poofy little thing that like I'm like, how do you're not getting that dirty?
It's a part of her thing. It's a part of it.
Exactly.
Chewing gum from scratch because her sister wanted chewing gum. No, it's a little bit.
She made Coca-Cola from scratch because her husband called like from scratch. Her husband.
But then again, actually, it's a good challenge. like sometimes I challenge Maggie to do things. Like I'm Maggie, can you make this kind of food? And she's like, okay. And can you make sure that it's better than the original one? She's like, yes, I'm doing.
How long have you guys been married for?
3.5 years, 4 in January.
Okay, well, that's good. So if Hazim told me that, I would know. And that. And I'll make it yourself.
We operate differently. We're not your regular.
She likes to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, like sometimes I'm trying. Like our conversations are all about like, Maggie, can I get someone to help you? And she's like, no, and goes into my. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm sorry.
I feel her. Does she still have that evil-looking cat? She had a rescue cat, right?
Yes.
It's black, and it's black like it just stuck its finger in the socket. You know those things? It's like.
And it has yellow. And it has yellow eyes. Yes.
It has yellow eyes. You know that? Oh, you know those weird like cats on like.
There?
Disclaimer number 1: I love Fuzzy. Fuzzy is
Fuzzy's
the most.
not fuzzy.
Fuzzy is the most beautiful cat.
He's not fuzzy.
No, she's fuzzy and she's amazing. Because I'm not going down that road because it's one of our deal breakers before marriage. Because she had Fuzzy before me.
Yes.
So she was like, we're taking Fuzzy. And
So you have to take.
I'm a dog person. I love dogs. I took Fuzzy.
Fuzzy looks scary. Like
Love. The
pitch black. The eyes the color of your t-shirts. yellow.
True.
It's freaky, and it has like a couple of like fur pieces missing. It looks like one of those stray cats you find in a dumpster. You know that's.
No, but she's nice and clean. But the thing is, like the first few months of marriage, so I sometimes like you wake up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and you want to go into the bathroom. So sometimes I wake up and there's like this little black shadow in the corner and I get super scared. And sometimes she is on top of me and she's looking at me. And I open my eyes and I see like big yellow eyes. I'm like,
creepy. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a bit
But
creepy.
she's creepy.
In light, she's beautiful. In dark, that's where the scary things happen.
Yellow eyes. I'm not kidding.
But she is beautiful. She is amazing.
You're her daddy. You could say whatever.
No, honestly, like okay. So here's the thing. So it's we all know you have ugly people and you have beautiful people or pretty people, and for me it's everyone is everyone. Like you are you. So a black cat with yellow eyes, she is beautiful in the eyes of someone. It's just not you. Like
in your eyes.
in my eyes and Maggie's and a lot of people actually. Yes.
Okay.
Fuzzy is a red line that we cannot cross.
We cannot talk about Fuzzy. We love Fuzzy.
Or I get
saw
killed.
Fuzzy when she first was rescued. It kind of freaked me out. But okay.
How is it to work with your wife?
To be completely honest,
Yeah.
it's very tough. It's very tough, and sometimes I wish we're not doing it. Honestly, like,
Where does it get challenging?
So funny story. Like everyone has their pros and cons. I have a big con. Like I have one of the biggest cons. I'm thinking about work all the time,
Okay.
which is a problem, because you need to stop thinking about work at 8, 9, 10 p.m. That's when it's house. Like you're at your house. There's no work happening. It's after working hours. I cannot unplug, which is a problem. So sometimes if we want to have a conversation, we get upset from each other because it's not the right time to actually have it. So she has this rule of and I talked to one of my friends. He's a very one of the nicest VCs you'll ever meet in your life. There is a nice VC out there, he's one of the nicest people. And he's like, Ahmed, can you do something about it? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, can you shut up about work after 6 p.m.? And he's like, yes. And he's like, so why don't you do it? And then I thought about it and I was like, he's right. I can shut my mouth after 6 p.m. about work. But sometimes I'm a human being, so I cannot do it. I have to talk about work. So it's one of our challenges because...
she wants to shut off and you don't shut off.
Yes. And the second thing that is a challenge as well, she's not money oriented. So she's not the business. She does not have the business.
She's creative.
Yes, exactly.
100% creative. That's something about
Exactly, which is sometimes a problem because I'm not involved like on a full-time basis with that business because I have the agency to run and everything. So it's we end up like arguing about this as well. Uh, so yeah, it's difficult, but it's not like impossible. Like honestly speaking, she's one of the best people I've worked with. She's extremely hardworking, and I wouldn't do this business with anyone but her.
Okay.
Aside from being my wife and all, but like genuinely as she is good at what she does. She's the magic behind him. So it's you have to take like okay. So here is the question: the four fat ladies, you guys fought a lot, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
I think it was obvious to anybody. We fought way too much.
But then again, like you built, like you had something to build on top, like after it. So yeah, like it didn't stop you. Like it didn't.
What, once we sold the four fat ladies?
No.
No.
Are you no? You're talking
Generally.
about the business.
Yeah.
Was it something that made it challenging for us or not? Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
It was
Yes, it made it challenging. It made it challenging for the both of us.
But then it helped you somehow. Because sometimes you fight and then you get to learn something about.
we sold it.
Okay.
You know we sold it.
Yeah, I know.
Listen. No.
No, I think with siblings sometimes it's much different than husband and wife. I think every relationship in work is different.
Yeah.
So the husband and wife, sisters, me, unfortunately for me, and this is, I love my sisters, and I had a lot of issues and I lost my temper a lot because being the youngest, I was always, it brought up a lot of bad feelings from my childhood, especially with my older sister Shireen, in all honesty. So I reacted like a child most of the time, like I was back in that age, you know, where, oh, don't listen to Nira, she doesn't know what she's talking about, she's a child, blah, blah, blah. Shireen used to do that a lot when we were younger. Actually, she still does that till now. So a lot of times when we would be in conversations with our partners, and I didn't need to do that, and I feel bad about it, is that when we were asking for everybody's opinion and I felt my opinion was kind of brushed over, I would react in a very bad way. And then I would start fighting with Heba in front of them. So it was not a good thing, actually.
احنا we have in our family, we're very interesting. We don't have very much of a filter. Nira has no filter whatsoever. I have.
He knows that.
Yeah, he knows that. Probably knows that. He knows you're from.
He's been around for a long time.
I have filter, but I mean, I'm honest. You know, for we all have that in our family. We're very, very honest. We're very forthcoming. But I have to say, if I'm going to be super honest, I think challenges are important. And with family, it's always, it can be a problem. But I think it was not a good problem. It was a challenge that we were not able to overcome, Nira and I. Because Nira and I have very different characters. And for me, I don't respond the way she does.
And it created a lot of mistrust.
It created a lot of problems for a while.
But would you guys have started this business somehow without you being involved together?
Which
Like, no, the thing is, I wouldn't have done the four fat ladies without Nira. Nira wouldn't have done the four fat ladies without me. Because
I wouldn't have done it without my sisters and vice versa.
Exactly.
I'm an interior designer for Anna. For me, I didn't want to do it. I was kind of doing it a little bit more for Nira, but I had it like I thought this could be like such a nice thing between family and kada. It didn't really pan out the way we wanted it to. Although we had a good start to it, and we had a good product, and we had a good idea and a good vision. It just didn't really pan out the way we really wanted to.
And
I definitely think the way what you say, Ahmed, there was a lot of conflict. The conflict was very difficult for us to overcome. I had a hard time overcoming it.
We didn't have any rules before about if there is a conflict, how are we going to handle it with each other. I think I just went with how I am, which was not a good thing. And the zero filter is not a good thing in front of people that don't know you. So
yeah, definitely.
It was, unfortunately, it was just, I fucked up and
we partnered up with the wrong people in a way. So you know, but you always learn, like we were just saying, I was just telling you, I feel like, you know, I've had, my whole life has been like failure, what a failure. But, you know, there's always, after that, always comes the success.
But it's about being, showing up. You have to show up.
But we've learned so much I've learned so much from these things. I know, like, Yani, like, now we're kind of doing this podcast together, and sometimes it's a bit challenging at times, but, we, but no, but Nir and I, the thing is about Nir and I, we have, like, complete 100% trust for each other and 100% love for each other. It just, we have very, very different characters, and it just sometimes clashes. And Nira is crying now, but because she's PMSing or because she's perimenopausal. We don't know which one it is, but we will let you know within season 2. But otherwise, I think it's, I've worked with my husband on times because he's an architect and I'm an interior designer. And
You complete each other.
Huh?
You complete each other.
We do. We're both opinionated, but we work well. We work at the end, like, we can have challenges like you, but the final result is actually quite nice.
That's the same when it comes to me and Meg. We're like, we have we believe in what we're doing. Like, and we believe in it can be not just like a regional thing, it can go global.
Yeah, of course.
But sometimes, and I think this is very important to note, and I think it's a struggle you guys face as well in one way, shape, or form. Like, to build a ship, you need a lot of people.
Yeah.
You don't just need one person or two. So sometimes the problem is, even if you're like the best captain, if you don't have the best crew, you won't get anywhere.
Exactly.
And this is one of the challenges of where we are at the moment. Like, here in Egypt, you would have brilliant people doing brilliant things, but what they lack is a good team.
And Porphyritis was a bad team.
It's not easy to find a good team. I agree with you in that sense. I think it's really important to... I think there's a little bit of the brainwashing. My mother comes from this mentality of, like, you have to do everything. And I'm the type of person, and for me, that is horrible for me. Because I'm maybe a little bit like Maggie. I think about the creative. I don't like to get bogged down with the details.
Yeah.
If I have to get bogged down with the details, I kind of close off, and it's like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's too much for me. I have other things. For me, my mind is always working on the creative part. So I think it's very challenging in Egypt to find people that have the same vision as you and the same commitment and drive. Also, for example, Nir and I we're older. We come from a time where you had to work very, very hard.
Yeah.
You need to prove yourself. Like, there was no such thing as not going to work or working remotely. This is a very new thing. But Anna, for me, I'm so used to showing up. It's difficult to find people that are committed now in Egypt.
It's because, like, okay, so two things.
Yes, give us your words of wisdom.
I will tell you one thing that's very polarizing. So I really hate the remote working. I really hate it. Yeah. And it doesn't, like, it works with very few people, and it doesn't work with everyone. Like, it doesn't. Like, I don't like doing work remote. Like, I need to be present in a place doing things, like, and funnily enough, I just lost my train of thought as well.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Maybe you'll remember. Did I lose my train of thought again? No. I hate the remote working. I hate, but I also wanted to ask you, because you've been doing business for such a long time now. You have a good team. Have you had a lot of turnover in your team? What is the most challenging thing about how, because you have several businesses?
Yeah.
How challenging? What's the biggest challenge for you in, like, running a business
Okay, so
in Egypt?
definitely, like, a big challenge. So I definitely had a lot of, like, changes when it comes to the team. Like, like my current team in the agency, I have people who've been with me for 10 years. Very few people that have been with me for 10 years. But, like, one of my trusted people and my second in command, she's been with me for 5 years now. And we work well together. We understand each other. We get frustrated from each other sometimes, but then when you look at generally, unfortunately, in Egypt, we don't have, like, people are looking, given the conditions that we're living in, people are looking for the money.
Yeah.
It's all about money. So even though I go in, like, sometimes I go in and it applies across. It applies to the agency side. It applies to Hum, etc. So I go in and I tell my team, guys, we're building this not just for me or my partners. It's for us. And I promise you, if we grow and we are successful together, you will get compensated for this, and it's not just talk. Like you will see this. Like for example, earlier this year, we on the agency side we made good money, we made profits, so the top performers got a part of the profits with us.
Nice.
So they saw it.
Yeah.
But then not that many people are going to be like buy into the vision and the mission, because it requires a lot of tough days. Like it really so I don't want to go into the extreme, but like recently a memo got leaked from Mr. Beast, one of like the biggest YouTubers in the world, if not the biggest YouTuber in the world, and he had this memo that got leaked. It really is very it's as if Hitler is running his own production company. So it's very I don't want B players, I want A players. I want you to I don't care about working hours, I only care about like he was very
Harsh.
difficult, yes, and harsh, because sometimes, honestly speaking, to build great things, sometimes you have to really suffer for it. Like you have to put a lot of time, effort, blood. Like it's a lot of, but all the time I'm telling people, like, I don't want you to do like the extreme, I just want you to do what's right. But then people are showing up, and given the conditions that we're living in, they will look for the money first, and the money now, not the money later.
Yes, yes.
So even if I'm like promising them, I'll give you like X amount of percentage from this company and you'll be a millionaire later on, they don't want to be millionaires later on. They want money right now.
But do you think I find that it's a very Egyptian brand. Mostly in Egypt. Maybe this generation more so all over the world, but I think I noticed this from early on. A lot of Egyptians they're always looking at things that are going to make them money now, even if it has nothing to do with what they like to do or anything to do with their business. But this so-and-so is making a lot of money, that's what I should do. But you're not in restaurants, it's just random things. It's just they kind of they're running after that.
I think it's a global thing, though.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
agree.
social media has made it a global thing. So somebody posts a popular video. Her and her friend got drunk and they used Beyonce's song. They posted a video that went viral and everything. How rich do you think they are now?
Yeah, but those are
Those
one-hit
two girls.
wonders.
No, but there's a lot of them. There's quite a few of them. It's not just one. You can say there must be at least 2,000, let's say.
Yeah.
2,000 of those are 10 million are watching 2,000 of those videos and say, I want to be like that. But the 2 million can't be like that. It's good. You're going to have like two of them that are going to come up. But this is what people aspire to. It's easy money while having fun. You're having fun posting a video, drunk with a video, and then you post it, and who in their minds would have thought they would have made millions just because of all the views they got from that one video, plus all the videos that were made after that because of their video. So the whole dynamics have shifted about work, where some people, our parents' generation, they started in one company, they died in that company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like I have to tell you something. Like when it comes to like thinking about what you're saying right now, I think it's just like a part of the culture now. It's like, okay, so I'm in this place, I'm making £10,000. So if I move to this place, I'll make £15,000. And if I move quickly, I'll just make more money over time. And there is a culture of distrust of the company. Like people are going to be like, he's going to suck my blood. He's going to make me work weekends, late nights with zero appreciation of what I do. I'm like, no, like, yes, there are companies in Egypt that are like this, but like genuinely, for the past 10 years, I've been trying to build companies with good people, and I wanted to compensate these good people very well. But my only obstacle is no matter how many clients I get, if your team is not handling it right, you won't make the money. So they don't get how important it is to like think long term. Like I had a mission. I told them back in the day, I think like 6-7 years ago, I had this meeting with my team, and I'm like, guys, I'm on a mission to make our office boy make at least £10,000 a month. Like that was 6-7 years ago. So that was my mission. Though I wanted to pay my office boy that much, but in order to pay the office boy that much, you have to make good money to pay everyone that much. So sometimes it's like what makes me sad about where we are at the moment is you don't see that many people buying into the goal and the vision. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go into interviews and be like, why did you apply for a job? I know that the person applied for a job because number one, they wanted more money or a better number two, a better condition than their latest. They don't really believe in what I do or what I like. They not that many people are going to come to you and be like, I really want to work with you.
Yeah, I know. It's just mugarrad, it's a job. It's a job.
It's salary at the end of the month. It's like creating zero loyalty towards people you work with. And
It's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I go in and I tell them like because we have this culture in Egypt that like when, and that's what I really hate about us is how negative we get sometimes with things and we ruin things. For example, I really hate it when people say ده ابن الشركة, like the son of the company, and this is what you use to describe someone who's loyal to the company. It's as if it's a negative thing. Well, I have done a lot of, like, before I started my own business, I was Ibn al-Sharka, and I'm very proud of being Ibn al-Sharka. I helped a lot of companies grow, and I did it for me before them. Because I wanted, like, if you ask any of my former bosses, they would tell you Ahmed was very hard worker, and he had a big sense of ownership when it comes to things, and that's why we love him.
Tab, why do you think you turned out like that? Why do you think you have that work ethics?
Honestly, I don't really know. Like, I'm wired this way. Like, I can't go in and not do it right. I really want to succeed. Like, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Because, like, one of the reasons why I had, like, my mental issues at one point, because I associated myself with success. So I needed to succeed all the time. So if there is a time when you don't have success, you have, like, not a flat line, but like okay, you're doing things. Yeah. So at that time, I feel super bad about myself. So I'm always eager to over-deliver, achieve things. That's how I'm wired. So it's a part of what I am. But again, it's a sense of ownership. I really like earning my money. Like, I really like truly earning the money I'm making.
Yeah.
It's very tough to do it. Like, I will be very honest with you. Sometimes I miss being an employee because I had things under my control. But now I'm letting other people control things, and sometimes they don't deliver what you want to the end user or the client. So you feel sad because, like, could have done it. But in order to grow, you cannot do everything.
Exactly, yeah.
You have to let go of the reins a little bit.
Yeah, but then at sometimes, like, especially if people do not have the sense of ownership, you end up delivering a 4 out of 10 product while you really want, like, what I'm looking for is like a 7. I don't want more. I want a 7. Yeah. Wallah, I'm all for a 7. Give me a 7, I'm good. I'm
But
like,
for them, مش مقبول.
yeah, but
It's too much.
unfortunately that's because again we have competition now. Companies from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, they're hiring people here. We cannot afford to pay people here the same salaries they are willing to pay. So you have a big challenge there as well. So we are not in our best conditions at the moment.
Yeah.
And sometimes it makes me think, like, but the thing is, the beauty, because sometimes I have to look at the positive, because Maggie is always about the positive. So what you really need to look at on the positive side, if you are like us, hard worker, you love what you're doing. If you go out there, like if you travel to Saudi Arabia, if you travel to the United Arab Emirates, you will excel. Like, you will compete.
Yeah.
Because we're not, like, here we're doing our best.
We struggle. We hustle here.
And in a very tough environment.
It is.
It is super tough. Like, you cannot. Sometimes I don't believe, like, when I go to friends or business owners in Saudi Arabia or the United Arab Emirates,
Chill.
and they do things very easily. I'm like, this took me a while to do, and you're doing it in like 24 hours. I hate this. I hate this.
And so tell us, into basically, so you basically now are managing. So basically, Maggie is doing the Hum Network. She's
Yes.
doing that, and you're doing your social media, the Bubblegum Factory, and you have a podcast.
Yes. Yes. I'm doing these three things. Yes.
Okay. So which one's your favorite?
Tough question. Tough question. I love them all, but I hate the managerial part of them. Like I hate the. So I realized the reason why I partnered up with my current partners in Bubblegum Factory is they're better business people than I am. So it took me 10 years to realize that I'm really not that good when it comes to business. I love strategy, I love creative, I love execution, and I love building things. But I really hate that other part.
Development part.
No, I don't mind it. Like business development is not an issue, but like managing like pricing, budgets, salary, like the whole,
Financial
the tax. بالضبط. And actually, like the funny thing is, sometimes it's about perception. So when I partnered up with my partners, they run Bubblegum Advertising, which is one of the best independent creative agencies in Egypt and the region. Like they got an Effie for being like one of the most effective agencies. One of the reasons why I partnered up with them, people, unfortunately, until today, they look at digital agencies and they're like, I will pay them £10. They do great work. Like it's a very cheap perspective. But when you look at the creative agencies and the advertising agencies, they get paid very well to do good work. Because sometimes people don't realize that you really need to spend on the things to make them good. Like digital is good and everything. I can create TikToks with my phone for you and all. But sometimes if you are seeking a better quality, you have to pay more. You have to invest more. So when I partnered up with my partners, I got the ability to get bigger budgets and better budgets to do better work.
Okay.
And it's nice. It comes with its own like set of cons, but still, I like where we're going. I like the direction. We're bigger now. We're better, and we're getting to do better things for our clients, which is something that I want to do. Okay. We're not 100% successful at this. Like we still struggle till today with like clients paying this much money and like wanting like the world, and it's a struggle. But it's but I really enjoyed the creative aspect of everything. Like I like the podcasts, the podcast part. I do it mainly because of two things. Number one, because I get to talk to my friends who are experts in things, and we don't get to like spend time. So I take advantage of that podcast to spend my time with my friends. Or if I really don't get something, I just get an expert to come on board and like explain things to me. So at one point in time, I was like, what is NFT? What is Web3? Like, even someone who is living in digital, sometimes you don't really get that part.
Yeah.
So you want someone to explain to you like an 8-year-old. So I'm like, come here, I'm stupid.
It's perfect. The podcast is like your Wikipedia.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes it's a way of meeting people.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a podcast, because I thought it'd be nice to connect with people that inspire me.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And you'll be surprised, like sometimes, like a couple of my guests, I didn't think that they would do it. Like I thought, like they would look for like big audience, and they really don't care. Like they're up for like sitting and connecting and talking. And podcasts are better than TV shows, etc. Because you only get like a slot. You have to do like a.
Yeah, I like the podcast world. I think it's nice, although it's huge now.
It is, but again, it's about consistency.
Yeah.
So it requires, you have to build up to it. Like, so the misconception of overnight success is what destroys a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you have to just keep on going, because like all the creators that we're seeing now, like all the YouTubers that are making millions now, they started like 10, 12 years ago, maybe more. So it's about like, yes, a lot of people are doing podcasts now, but who's going to continue?
Yeah.
Because if you continue, you'll get.
It's a long-term vision.
Long-term gain.
Everything is.
Honestly, everything is, yes. So I would really love to look like David Beckham at one point in time. But I know I'm not going to get it in a year or two. I just need to work towards that goal.
But a lot of tattoos. We were just talking about that.
Once I lose the weight, I will get that tattoo. But not that many tattoos, but like, because you have to have like a body for it. You can't just do like, because if you get like a skull and you gain some weight, it will look like a drooling, that looks weird.
I had a friend of mine who had an octopus, and she also had a weight. It was like a squid.
No.
So she.
Squid actually, and the tentacles were like, it looked
So yeah,
like shrines.
there's been on you the six pack, and you've got the body for it. Otherwise, yeah. But did you want to ask that?
What advice? Hey, sorry, got caught off guard here. So, what advice would you give your younger self, Heba, or
No. What advice would you give to young entrepreneurs starting out now?
It's very tough. So, what I love about like starting businesses like as a young person is you're always like looking at the positive side of things. But I truly think no, you need to be aware of the pros and cons of what you're getting yourself into, and to definitely learn management or like business. So you need to read into like how to run a business. Aside from whatever you're doing, you need to learn business. Because I regret not learning business. I learned it by doing, which is not something that I advise you to do. Like I really genuinely believe they should put in effort to study it or learn it. And at the same time, I think like if you take me back in the day, I would spend more time learning like through companies, like through working for companies. So I would definitely like spend a few more years being an employee in a company. But definitely study, learn the business before you execute on the business. Because sometimes they only look at the positive, like I'm going to be a millionaire thing, which unfortunately doesn't happen to most of the people.
Yeah. No, that's good advice. Try to be an employee for a few years before getting to do it.
100%. Like I would spend more time, like I was an employee, but I wanted more years as an employee.
Okay, great advice. Ahmed, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
yes, thank you so much.
And we want to tell people where they can find you, so please let them know where to.
First of all, it was my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. And everyone can find me at instagram.com/Ahmed Naguib. And Ahmed Naguib generally across all social media.
Yes, so he has a podcast that you have to subscribe to, and he has the Hum Network.
Yes, and Bubblegum Factory.
Bubblegum Factory, social media, if anybody wants any social media services, so don't hesitate to contact him. And yes, thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions to ask Mira and I, you can DM us.
Or if you have any questions for Ahmed,
Exactly, you can DM us.
more
Who
questions.
Said What with Heba and Mira. Please subscribe and follow our social media accounts. And we will see you next week.